All right, so here it is. I promised a video on Mercury retrograde. I wanted to talk about Mercury retrograde. I'm popping out some different videos on my different channels. So I want to talk about Mercury retrograde. So there's so much to be said about Mercury retrograde, but I want to focus on the empowering part of it, right? And being real. So Mercury retrograde, the planet Mercury looks like it's moving backwards, right? So in astrological talk, spiritual talk, esoteric talk, it's all, or belief, it's all about, and from time experience, but people have experienced it, that communications, plans, things just don't seem to work out right. Okay, and there's miscommunication because Mercury represents communication. Mercury rules Gemini and Virgo. Okay, so Gemini an air sign, Virgo an earth sign. So they have this commonality by Mercury, which is communication, which is the need to communicate, and through their own astrological zodiac power, they can communicate what their life purpose is or their goal is. And this can work for all signs because somehow, not somehow, but as far as houses for Gemini and Virgo, you have them in your chart. Okay, so you can see, okay, where is my Gemini house? Where is my Virgo house? What's in there? You can connect to it that way. Even if you were born and you had for some reason Mercury wasn't in play, which is, you know, whatever, but you have Mercury somewhere in your chart, find it. Okay, if not, find Gemini and find Gemini's house and find Virgo's house. That can help you too to connect. So we all can connect to all the different planets in different ways, okay, for different reasons. All right, but we can use it for its general purpose, which is communication. So when Mercury is in retrograde, it's all about miscommunication, things getting held back or things not working. So there are mantras for that you can do, okay, that will help you to go through it. Now, when Mercury's in retrograde, it's great to pause and think about what it is that I need to do. What can I plan for in the future, but not start it, okay? You can also say, okay, all of these misfortunes or all of these things not working out, it's just not meant to be. I don't want to start up anything new, okay, for duration of time. Now, if it was a plan that you had before Mercury retrograde, it's okay to continue with that plan because it was something that was started before the retrograde. Right now, March 5th to March 28th is the end, is Mercury retrograde. So Mercury retrograde ends on the 28th, which is Thursday. And from my location, it ends at 7:58 a.m. Bye-bye. Okay, so that's when it ends. And what we can learn during Mercury retrograde is, as hard as it seems, is to see anything negative as a positive. So I wrote down certain things that can be done. All right. But the most important thing to know is that people always see Mercury retrograde as a negative. When I first learned about it, it was like, don't be afraid, but things just usually don't work out right. If you start to do something new, start making plans, it usually doesn't work out. But if you had the idea before or you started it before, then things will go through just fine, okay? You might have a little hiccups here and there, but once Mercury retrograde is over, everything works fine. All right. Problems with any form of communication, computers, anything electronic, there's an issue. Anything with documents is an issue. Even if you signed it before Mercury retrograde, okay, this is what happens. It does, right? Even legal documents will have an issue. Even if you didn't even sign it during Mercury retrograde, but you're trying to do something while Mercury retrograde is going on, it's best to wait until it ends, then everything will clear up. Okay, so mantras. The first one is a Buddha mantra, second is a Shiva, and the third is a 9-planet hymn or mantra, right? So the Shiva one should be your primary mantra. The second one is the 9-planet to ensure general planetary protection, to appease all the planets, right? It's kind of like connecting to the energy. Rather than appease, I would like to think of it as connecting to all the 9 energies, planets, right? The third one is the Buddha mantra, when Mercury issues are pretty much in your face or you feel confronted with that energy. But the main thing to remember is that if something is not working out, see it as a blessing and know that after Mercury retrograde ends, something better will come along, okay? Like I said, during Mercury retrograde, sit, be still, and any kind of planetary retrograde is a great time to see where you can apply the slowing down of that planet or the retrograde of that planet in your life. What does that mean? So the planet is the opposite of what its true nature is. So what can you learn from that? And then where is Mercury in your chart? Okay, what planets are around that, right? You can look at just that. And then where's Mercury in your chart? What house is it in your chart? What does that house mean? What does that house represents? Okay, and what zodiac sign is associated with that house? All right, so you want to look at that. It's a lot to look at, but the main thing is what house is that planet in your sign, right? Or what house is Mercury in your birth chart? Find that out. What does that house mean? And then how is that affecting your present day life right now? And once you understand that house and that issue, then you'll have a better perspective on what you're going through. Also, what other planets are in that house? If that house has Mercury, Venus, Saturn in there, what does that combination mean? So that's like for you to research and find that, you know. So let me see, what else did I write down? Okay, so I wrote down Mercury or any challenging situations with planetary astrological period as a time to reflect on what that planet means and how it applies in your life. Where is the planet? Where is that planet in your birth chart? What house? What is the house meaning? So we pretty much covered that. Okay, so the first mantra is Om Buddha Namaha, right? I'll write it all down in here. And then Hum Namaha Shiva mantra, and then the 9 planets mantra, right? So we're not in control of the planetary movements, but we are in control of how we see things, what's our perspective on what we're going through. So the most important thing is to know that Mercury retrograde is all about communication. So look at this as a time to really say, where am I right now? This is like my me time to communicate with myself. Where am I right now? And what do I love? What am I passionate about? Why do I want to communicate this? You know, why do I want to communicate right now? Maybe and what I've been saying to everyone and myself mainly, which is most important, is to communicate less, right? So less communication. And when you know that Mercury retrograde is coming up, if there's something really important that you want to do, make plans for it ahead of time. Okay. And like, for instance, for this month, the start of the month, it was like, even the ending of February was like, there were signs of delay, of like, okay, you can do this, but you're going to be really busy doing something else. Excuse me. And these other things are important. So we really, when we're in tune, we can listen to our intuition and we can know that a lot of things are going to happen, but better things are coming. And this is just a time to sit still, communicate less, listen more, understand what we've been through and where we want to go, and how communication can help us through it. And the other cool thing that I'm learning during this Mercury retrograde is not to be upset, just to be calm, be positive, and look for solutions to what's going on. So that's like one of the big things, is to look for solutions to whatever is going on, but not rush it. And just know that when Mercury retrograde has ended for your location, you know, not just look at the day, but look at the time, then you'll see the shift in more things happening. But the most important thing is to, before the Mercury retrograde start, is to make all the plans that's important to you. And anything that comes up in between that, just let it ride. All right. I hope this helps. Thank you guys so much for watching. I'm going to put the links to some YouTube videos of the mantras that I found that were good. Any helpful comments is good. And any experience that you've had with Mercury retrograde and mantras. I play mantras every day during the house. Even when I leave, I have one playing based on the cycle of the moon and what zodiac sign the moon is in. So whatever that element is, I might do the element by the chakras, by playing the chakra music. I do that. And it keeps me in someone asked me, why do you do that? It just keeps me in harmony with the day. Excuse me. So it keeps me in harmony with the day. And then I might do stretches for that part of my body for that day. So it's within the cycle of the moon and the day. Okay. The sun always is. So whether it's shining or not. So I feel connected to that as well. But with the cycles of the moon, it's good to know what is the rising sign over your area for that day. And you can do that with a chart and play either based it on chakras. So you play chakra music for that element. So if it's Gemini, then it's air, and that's throat chakra. If it's say Aries, it's fire. So I'm going to play solar plexus for the chakras, right? Or I could find a mantra for that. Or if you're practicing Qigong, then you should do it by the season, you know, like water, earth, air, fire, water, metal, you know. But you can also visualize in your Tai Chi practice for the day or your yoga practice for the day, you're connecting with the element of water. You know, what element are you connecting with for that day if you're doing your movement, right? What chi are you building up? What energy are you building up? So during the Mercury retrograde, you want to, back to that, you want to connect to a mantra that will help you with your communication. Now, when I was making this video, I thought about like Ganesh, right? Is to open up communications. Well, if you want to do a Ganesh mantra, is more for self to, I personally wouldn't do one, but if you would do one, it would be to understand how to just communicate with yourself and not try to project anything, but just to be, you know. So I guess, you know, if I would do a Ganesh mantra, it would be just to have understanding during times when things aren't working out right, and just know that things will work out right later on, because Ganesh is opening path and communication. But when communication is not working, just to find understanding in that. So not to, I wouldn't do it to project, but more to have understanding and to calm self. So I hope this helps. Thank you guys so much for watching. Peace. Namaste.